Welcome back to the Worthy Woman podcast with Aston Simmonds, where we talk all things relationships, communication, connection, motherhood, and how we manage it all as the worthy women that we are. Today, I have a very special, gorgeous guest. My husband, Adam Simmonds, is here with us today.
Hello.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello.
I really wanted to bring Adam on to have a deep chat about the 5 lies that we have been sold about relationships. Because honestly, there are so many lies that we're sold. We bought into several of them as well. And I really want to bring some light to these for you, and we want to help you to literally overcome these lies right now. After listening to this episode, you will stop wasting your time and energy believing these lies that are literally obstacles to the love, connection, communication, thriving marriage and relationship that you actually want.
Yeah.
And we see this with not just ourselves, let's be real, we experienced it too. That's why we're here and sharing our story. But also we see these lies showing up with all of the clients that we work with. So we wanted to do this episode together and bring both the feminine and the masculine perspective and to help you overcome them. So let's dive in. So number 1, this is the biggest lie. Honestly, I think I just want to laugh. Yeah. The biggest lie we have been sold is that once you find the one, everything will be perfect and you will be saved and your life will be forever better. And
all your worries will just go away. Yeah.
It's such a lie. And honestly, we've been together 19 years. I know Adam's my one, and I promise you all my problems were not solved when we got into a relationship.
Yeah.
We're both laughing about that right now, because pretty much if you're in a relationship and if you've been in it more than like 5 seconds or even a few months or a year, you know that there's challenges that come up, and those challenges actually help you grow. They're opportunities for growth. So a lot of us have been conditioned into this lie from Disney, from movies like The Mermaid, where, she loses her voice and then he kisses her and she's able to express herself and she gets legs and, everything's solved and she's like living this amazing life. And we don't think we're conditioned into these stories, but we are. From a very young age, it goes into our subconscious, and then we literally believe this lie that once we meet the one, everything will be okay. And then all these couples come to us going, what's wrong? I met the one and it's not working out. Everything is not okay. This is not what I thought my life would look like. This is not what I thought a relationship would be. And we felt that too. So we just want to really make it clear that this is a lie. If you are thinking that, you're going to find the one and everything's going to be easy, relationships are not convenient. They just aren't. And perfectionism is an illusion. It's not real.
Yeah.
So, we have an incredible relationship, like amazing connection, really deep communication, insane intimacy.
Yeah.
But we're not perfect.
No. And for a long time, I really believed this lie, really. I believed that if I was with the right one, it should be easy. And that's probably when we had the hardest time in our relationship, when I felt like we needed to get a divorce because it didn't feel like we were meant to be together.
Yeah. Because you were believing that lie.
Because I was believing the lie. And I wasn't facing up to the truth of the things that the relationship was showing me that I needed to address in myself. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, is thinking they need to get out because it doesn't feel right. And then they go and find another relationship and the same pattern repeats itself because they haven't been willing to be vulnerable or drop the ego and just look at themselves and see what are the patterns that I'm playing that are causing this thing to happen over and over again, the fighting or the whatever it is. And that was something that was huge for me.
Yeah, 100%. So that's a lie. I really hope that you can break up with that one straight away and that we can all agree on that. And the truth is that relationships do take effort. And even if it is the one, it will require work. Yeah. We've been together 19 years and we're still working on our relationship. We are still learning from each other. We are still teaching each other. I don't think that'll ever change. And I don't think that should be the goal either, because if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
So don't get complacent. Don't get comfortable thinking you need to have the one and everything's going to be easy. I promise you, it'll be boring. There won't be connection and intimacy. challenges in your relationship help you to grow. That's the only way we're going to grow. And it will require some effort. It will require some time, some investment of you into the relationship.
But it's so worth it.
If you actually, that's if you want a relationship that is thriving, that has deep communication, really intimate connection. If you want all of that, then you have to be willing to put in what it takes to get that. And if you don't, that's cool too. Keep believing that lie and just have that mediocre average relationship. But we know that's not what you're here for. So that's a big one. Number 2, you should always prioritize your partner over yourself. Wow, this is a massive problem that we see showing up for couples. And it was a big problem for us 3 years ago. Once we had our kids, we definitely fell into this trap of just Adam thinking he had to work. And that was the only way to, support the family. And me being with the kids all the time. And we were not even on our priority list. And as a result, we had nothing to give ourselves, let alone give each other. And this is where the people pleasing comes in and where the resentment builds, because this is a lie. If you honestly put your partner before you are going to have some resentment. Because the truth of resentment is there is a need that you have that is not being met, and your partner is meeting that need for themselves, or they're doing that thing that you want to be doing, and you're not giving it to yourself. So you're resentful because you want it. And how we kind of describe it to clients is, I want you to imagine and visualize a cake. So in order for the cake to be made to like the perfect, delicious sweet cake that you want to make, you need to put the ingredients in that will make that cake. And only you know what those ingredients are. So many couples are going to their partner and expecting their partner to be the cake. Like, meet all my needs, make me feel fulfilled, put me first, make me a priority. But they don't know what the ingredients are. You do. You are the cake, and your partner is the icing, is the sprinkles, is the decoration. So, 80% of the time, you must be meeting your own needs, definitely. And if you're not, it's going to make it virtually impossible to meet your partner's needs with love, not from fear or people pleasing. And if you have a family or kids, it makes it even harder to meet their needs as well.
Yeah, it does. I really love the cup analogy for this. Like if you've got a cup in front of you and it's full of water, or full of whatever your favourite drink is, if it's full to the brim, it's overflowing, then you have so much extra to give to those you love and those you care about. But you've first taken the time to fill that cup up. If you have an empty cup and then you're going around to your family and friends and you're trying to give it to your partner, there's nothing there to give. So you really need to put yourself first and break up with that limiting belief that most of us have in this day and age, because we've all been raised to please others, please our parents, please our teachers, please our workplace and our boss before meeting our own needs. So we need to bust that one.
Yeah, you will be a better man. Adam is a much better man when he meets his needs.
Yeah.
I am a much more loving woman when I meet my needs. Like everything in our relationship and our home and our family works so much better when we meet our needs. And if it starts to get out of balance, the first thing we know to do is to check in and be like, have I been meeting my own needs? Because that is the core problem.
Yeah.
And once you meet those needs, you can then meet the needs of your relationship and everything else in your life.
Yeah. And there is a healthy way and an unhealthy way of doing this. We don't really have time to go into it right now, but if you get a copy of our free book or join one of our programs, we go into this in a lot more detail on how to actually communicate this effectively so your partner's then not resentful and you can both work together to support each other in achieving what you need.
Yeah, 100%. Your partner, so line number 3, your partner should fulfill all your emotional needs. This is a big one, ladies, because every woman that comes to me is like, he doesn't know how to support me emotionally. He doesn't listen to me. He just wants to fix it. He doesn't know how to support me. I don't feel like he's listening. I don't feel like he hears me. He doesn't understand me. And then from the men, I hear like, it just feels like all she wants to do is vent. And
no matter what I do, I can't seem to please her. I can't seem to make it right. I work really hard, and this is the problem I had. I felt like I was ticking the boxes on the outside. I was going to work, I was earning the money, I was coming home and being with the family. I wasn't going out and spending all night at the pub or staying away from the family. I was present, I was here, but there was some key things I wasn't doing in order to meet the needs of the relationship, and these are the key things that we
cover. But also again with emotional needs, it's like we teach you need to be self-responsible. So there was a time in our relationship where I was just projecting my needs on Adam, and that is not the same as communicating your needs. Or like women, when you are feeling all that emotion, just I always encourage, get your journal first, or you go and feel your emotions first before you bring it to your partner. Because what happens is, and men share this with me all the time, is they feel like they are receiving all this negative energy and they don't know what to do with it. They are wired differently to women. And it feels like you're just literally energetically vomiting on them. And then they don't have the energy to help you solve the problem or even provide that safe space that you want them to. They don't have the energy for it. The term for it is emotional flooding, and that's what you're doing to your partner. So it takes a lot of energy to get these words out, but we need to remember that it's a lot of energy to receive it as well. So it is a lie to think that your partner needs to fulfill all of your emotional needs. And we are expecting too much of our relationships these days. We're more disconnected as a society and as a world than we've ever been before. And we are relying on our partners to be our best friend, to be our counselor, to be, our problem solver, to help us with the kids. Like, we're expecting too much of each other, and we need to start opening to these emotional needs being met in a number of ways. You're 100% worthy of them being met, but it does not have to come solely from your partner. And honestly, it's an expectation that just feels too much like pressure. And we don't do this to each other. Like, we realized I needed to take more self-responsibility and start meeting myself emotionally. And, so that meant, journaling, speaking to friends, working with coaches, getting in sister circles. Like, there's so many ways that you can get those emotional needs met. And same for Adam. It was, for Adam, it was more like breath work.
I think for the men, it's more like it's learning how to regulate your nervous system. And when that happens and you feel like you're being bombarded by your partner with all this stuff, and you feel like you have to fix it all, because that's our natural tendency as men, is to go in and try and fix it. It's learning how to hold that without reacting and trying to fix it, because when you try and fix it, you actually frustrate the women in your life.
They just
That's not
want to
what
be
they
heard.
want. They just want to be heard. So it was really learning how to regulate my nervous system and just sit in it and listen and hold the space. So there was a number of practices that were really powerful, and that's the sort of stuff we share inside our programs.
Yeah, definitely.
Which help with that.
So number 4, the fourth biggest lie is being together for a long time and loving each other is all you need to have an amazing relationship. This is total BS. We have been together a long time. 19 years together, 8 years of marriage. We have loved each other for all of it. Even when we were questioning divorce, we still loved each other. But that was not enough to help our relationship work. So this is a lie. Like, just because someone's been together for a long time does not mean they have a successful, thriving relationship that you would want to be in. It doesn't mean that there's intimacy, communication, connection. Some people just live together in a platonic relationship, and that's cool if that's what you want. But that is not a metric that really determines a successful relationship. It's an outdated metric that I think is a lie that's still around, and it puts pressure on people to stay together even when they're not happy. It is literally a lie.
It is.
It's not
like
the truth.
If you said I'm going to stay at this workplace, stay in this job for 30 years, and I'm going to be happy because I'm there for 30 years. You'd laugh.
Said nobody ever.
It just doesn't work like that. It really comes back to that intentional connection and all the pieces. The communication, the connection, and making time for each other, making it a priority.
And I would say the number one thing that you actually need is a willingness to grow. If you want to be with someone for a long time, you have to be willing to grow in yourself and with each other. Because like I said, if you're not growing, you're dying. And this is what we see happen with couples all the time. And the problem we ran into 3 years ago when we got complacent and we stopped doing the work. And this is your invitation to actually look at, where you are in your relationship right now. You may have been together for a long time and you may love each other, but are you actually happy?
Yeah.
Do you actually like your partner? Do you like the life you've created together? Do you feel the way you want to feel in your relationship? And I can almost guarantee that the answer is no. And I would say that is because the missing ingredient is that you're not growing together. You're not investing in your relationship, which is just crazy because your relationship is the foundation of your life. Everything comes through you and your partner. Your life, your kids, everything you create. So the truth is we need to invest in our relationships. We need to normalize working with coaches, reading books, taking courses, having constructive conversations and healthy conversations about what is working, and focusing on the solution. We are not talking about going to a counseling session and
replaying the last 20 years of arguments.
No, that is not what we are talking about. That is not how we work, and I'm sure you get that by now after listening to my podcast for a while. We're here for the solutions. We're not here for blaming, pointing fingers, or even rehashing the past, because it's a waste of time. But you do need to have a commitment and a willingness to grow. That is the only way that you can create a thriving relationship, and that you can guarantee that it can continue to thrive, because nothing stays the same forever. Everything's always evolving. So the only way you can be sure that it continues to move in the direction that you want is to make sure that growth is a number one value for yourself and your relationship. And that has been life-changing for us. We will never not be growing in our relationship. We are always recreating our relationship vision. We're always having these deep chats, and it's so great to be able to share them with you on the podcast. But we do this in our everyday life. And we really encourage you to step into that. Okay, number 5, and this is a biggie too. Relationships are 50-50. No, they're not.
We used to suffer from this too. I think it makes sense logically. But, energetically, emotionally, practically.
Realistically,
it doesn't
in the real
actually
world.
work that way. I mean, there's going to be a number of things that come up in your relationship, and you've probably experienced them all. Sickness, or one partner needs certain things at different times. Maybe their work's extra busy. Maybe they're unwell.
Different seasons with kids.
We all go through different seasons of life.
Mental health.
And I think what it really comes back to for me is self-responsibility. If you're both committed to growing and you're both committed to the relationship and each other, you don't need to measure what you're doing versus what your partner's doing and keeping score all the time.
Keeping score is not what I recommend at all. But when it comes to the whole 50-50, the truth is relationships are 100. You have to both be 100% committed. But again, unrealistic, because I am not 100% all day. I have a lot of energy, yes, but I am not always at 100. And so what I really share with clients, and what we do in our own relationship, is to check in with where we're at. We will actually ask each other, what percentage are you bringing to the relationship right now? And it's not like a shame thing or a blame thing. It's okay, this is where they're at right now based on their resources, what they're holding, what they're working through. And this constantly fluctuates depending on where you're at in your life. So, I would ask yourself right now, what percentage out of 100 are you bringing to your relationship right now? And then ask your partner. And, it will be different at different times. There's been times where I've been at 80% and Adam's only been at like 20 because of mental health issues a couple of years ago. The only way this can work is that you both get clear on where you're at, and you be really honest and vulnerable about that. And then you make a plan so that everybody feels good about the percentage you're able to bring. There is times when I've been like, yep, I'm at 80 and I feel good. I can bring that 80. But then there's other times where I'm more like at 40. And I need to ask Adam, like, what percentage are you at? Because there's 60% there that I don't have right now. I'm working on it. So I really encourage, like Adam said, being self-responsible. How can you get your percentage up? What support do you need? What do you need to learn? Can you upskill, get some more relationship skills, get some more life skills to help you to increase your percentage? Because it can go up and down, and you can influence it by learning something new, by creating some space, by meeting your own needs. by doing some of the truths that we've been sharing on the podcast today, you can actually increase your percentage. But you need the total to be 100. So you need to both feel good about what you're bringing, or at least be able to accept that that's where you're both at right now. And then make a plan to increase it. And that's what we've always done. If one of us is lower than 50%, we sit down and we have a conversation. We're like, there's a gap in our relationship right now where like neither of us can meet the 30 or 40%. This means we have to work on our relationship right now. It automatically becomes a priority, because if there is a gap of that amount of percentage in your relationship right now, it's going to create gaps in every other area. With your parenting, with your work, with your business, whatever it is. So you need to then sit down together and make a plan to close that gap. And it can be as simple as getting more support, whether it's getting more support in the home or working with a coach, doing a course, reading a book. Like, the support is there.
And sometimes actually it's less. Sometimes you need to take some things off your plate.
100%.
Like we're all like doing too much, and we know that, especially as parents, there's too much on our plate. So sometimes it's just, what can I get rid of right now? What's not a priority? How can I just sit down for 10 minutes?
What's an unrealistic expectation?
Where are my expectations too high? We have that check-in all the time, because all the time it's a readjustment of the expectations. The to-do list is way too long and the hours in the day are too short. So get rid of all the stuff that doesn't need to be done. Take 10 minutes for yourself, and then you feel more calm. You feel more grounded in your body. And that's been a game changer.
Huge.
When we take those times out.
100%. Letting each other have what we need and giving each other what we need.
And giving your partner permission. To have time if they need time. Seeing that they're stressed and saying, look, honey, go and have 10 minutes. I can see this is a lot. You've been doing a lot all day. Go and take 10 minutes. And I'll be with the kids, I'll do dinner,
and realising by giving that, you're receiving. Because their percentage is increasing. What they can bring and give to the relationship goes up. But
every time we give that to each other, we end up coming back so much more
10 times better.
And then the rest of the day ends up being so much better. So it's always a win-win.
Definitely. 100%. Well, that is the 5 lies and the 5 truths to overcome them. We would love to know which one resonates with you. Share with us in the comments if you're on
YouTube. Drop a comment below. If you're on your podcasting platform, you can send Aston a DM. On Instagram. At Aston_Simmonds.
And share it to your stories. Because we know this episode is going to help a lot of couples, especially right now, that are just feeling the stress, feeling overwhelmed. And a lot of the overwhelm is coming from these lies that are unrealistic expectations in a relationship, and they're setting you up for failure. And we want to set you up for success, like real life success. So share this episode if you've got value from it. Please rate and review. This really helps me to ensure that the show can keep going and we can help more women and couples. So that would be amazing if you could do that. And if you have found this episode helpful, we wanted to give you another free resource to help you dive into this even more. So if you click the link below, you will find a copy of the 5 secrets to bring back the communication, connection, and happiness in your relationship, even if you are resenting your partner right now and you're barely communicating and you're so busy with life. So this is an incredible resource. It's probably our #1 most popular resource that we share of our free resources. And we wanted to include it to help you to start to do this work. And if you get so much value from that book, you can then book in to have a free call with me, and we can get clearer on what your gaps are that are not allowing you to actually experience the truth of your relationship and the thriving, loving, connected relationship that you want to be in. So I really hope you guys love this episode. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
my
for having
gorgeous
me.
husband. Now we get to go on date. Lunch date with my man. This is what happens when you do this work. You break up with these lies, you do this work, you actually start dating again. So there's so much good that comes from this. So thank you for being here, honey.
Thanks for having me. Loved it.